Good evening, Diecast fans. I'm Tom Spanners Watson.
And I'm Frank the Guru Gibbs.
And we've got another action-packed show for you tonight. And we're going to kick off tonight with news and tips. So, first up, in the news, the new Diecast Racing Report is about to launch, so make sure you get over and check that out. And if you haven't put your race into the event calendar over at Redline Derby, please make sure you go over and do that. Now, there's been a lot of talk in a lot of different forums about how to get clearer slow-mos. Everybody talks about frames per second, but it actually comes down to shutter speed. Frames per second will help, but you've got to have the right shutter speed. As it says on the screen, search YouTube for 180-degree rule for your shutter speed. It will make a big difference. And remember, there are plenty more tips to be had over at redlinederby.com.
Alright, kicking off into the racing this week, we got Thursday night hot rods, and Simon had an absolute corker this week. The current champion Mike Dyson was up against Dwarf Gourami Racing. Now, Dwarf Gourami Racing had that, I think it was that six-wheeler in there before, but just check out how close some of this racing is.
Wow, that's insane. Whoa, what happened there?
He was going so fast, he just set the track record and he bounced off that end wall and flipped over. It was an absolutely brilliant run, and he managed to set the track record twice.
Alright, moving over to Diecast 64 and Charger Summer. So it was at League of Speeds track, it then moved to Diecast 64, and these races, talking about close, are insanely close. That finish gate of his makes all the difference. It's the only way you'd tell. I mean, look how close this is.
Yeah, and what's really cool is on Redline Derby, he actually shows you how to build that exact finish gate, even if you've got no building skills. It's brilliant.
Okay, heading over to our first ever semi-truck battle, which I think is really cool, over at Cleveland City Diecast Racing.
Yeah, this was brilliant. I'd never seen this before. I mean, obviously I've seen some semis racing around the track in Aussie before, but never with a trailer as well. This is absolutely insane.
Man, that looks like a lot of fun. Definitely go over and check out Cleveland City Diecast Racing. And then last week we highlighted Wallside Racing in the grassroots section, and we've put them into the drag racing this week. I mean, this track is really cool. Check out how brutal this drop is here.
Wow, that is mental. How do these cars even stay on the track?
Well, quite a few of them actually go off after that, a lot like the Canyon. Some really good close races. And I've got to say, this guy is keen. He's outside in the rain, setting these up, racing, and that's the sort of thing we like to see. I mean, look at that jump there. That is huge.
Wow, that car landed it beautifully. Just like the Canyon, it kind of proves you don't always have to be the first out the gate or the quickest to win. You've got to be able to handle your jandle.
And then Diecast Draggor moves into the finals. And there's some very tight racing here. And these drivers trying to cut each other off, find some clear space. Some great racing. And there's constant upgrades going on at this track. There's all sorts of new things happening. Make sure you stay up to date with the channel.
Finally, in the drag racing, we head over to Rust Belt Diecast Racing and the Skydrop as he continues the lightweight racing. Now, these things are ultra lightweight. They are like 28 grams or less, and some of these cars had to have some major modifications to be able to hit that weight. And there is some really impressive racing on here.
Now, I had heard a rumour that one of the cars at least actually had to have weight added to it to hit the minimum weight.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that, but check out this race here. It's a little bit hard to see because these things are absolutely flying, but this 300C crosses the lane at the transition there, and I'm pretty sure he actually finishes this race upside down. Just looking at that, he's sliding on his roof.
Moving across the tournaments. Now, interestingly, there's a few less tournaments at the moment as everybody's kind of wrapped up. Obviously, we wrapped up our series last week, but Trax are pushing into their new Diecast League, and they ran the Lancer Evolution against the Jaguar XJ220.
Yeah, that Lancer was an absolute beast on the drag track when we drove it. How'd it do this time?
Well, it was a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, you can see here the Jaguar jumping lanes and just pushing the Evo out as he tried to avoid him. Still carrying a lot of speed, even though he had one wheel off, but he didn't get it. He didn't get pushed around the whole time, actually muscling the Jag out of the way there.
Wow, that's quite impressive. All right, then Live Young Diecast kicked off his European Vehicle Championship. And there's some beautiful cars here, lots of Lambos, and I just love that Lambo Countach. That was one of my favourite cars growing up. I had the poster on my wall.
So did I, mate. I think most of the guys I knew had the, was it the black one with the gold wheels?
Yeah, certainly, mate. She's a big poster and I absolutely loved it.
So some great racing over there. Head over and check out Live Young Diecast. And the Amigos kicked off their new tournament on their track with the Desert Showdown, with the BMW versus the Audi. So both cars had a time trial run and then ran against each other. Now this track is really cool. It's got a lot of effort put into all the diorama aspect of it and some really fun racing. Definitely go and check it out.
Moving into street racing, we kick off as usual with 3D Bot Maker and the King of the Mountain tournament. So this week it was all about the trucks, and there are some beauties in here.
Yeah, I believe there was the fastest qualifying vehicle was in this, and it's that blue truck, the second one there. The is it the FN 150?
Yeah, not everybody had a great run. That high pickup got flipped over a couple times, but just check out this through here. Mark D getting completely wild, but was doing a great run before that. I think he may have got a nudge from behind, which is a little bit rough, but that's racing.
And then Simon over at Hot Car Track kicked off his new tournament, Road Warriors. So this is an 8-week tournament where all of the cars race each week, and this is looking like a lot of fun. There was some awesome racing, very close, very tight battles, and some great cars as well. So these are all modified vehicles, and we've got some footage here of the different races. I mean, look at that overtake there. That was just beautiful, coming in tight from underneath. And then this GT40 just showing off here, pulling a handbrake 180 in that first turn, and then riding it in reverse the whole way, still taking out the win. And then these two here, just an epic battle, backwards and forwards. You definitely want to go over and check that out.
Diecast Racer X has tons of races happening on his tracks. This is just a couple of them, and this is one of the shorter courses that he has. But check out that overtake manoeuvre there.
Oh, that seemed pretty brutal.
Yeah, look at this, he just forces his way through, straight through to the finish. And then on another one of his tracks, he had the final of the GT40s. And these things are fast, but there was some good racing. Even though it looks like he gets well ahead, there were some very tight finishes in this one. Definitely head over, check out Diecast Racer X. There's tons of different racing. I'm sure you'll find something to enjoy.
Then Urban Underground Racing had the Viper versus the Ute. Now this is a classic Holden Ute, and there's just not many of those around.
Yeah, I've been looking for one of these for ages, but they're so expensive. It's crazy. I mean, you'd think being in New Zealand and Australia there'd be plenty of them around, but nah, she's a hard one to find.
The Viper taking out that first run, but you see here this Ute absolutely on form.
Yeah, he gave it the beans there and just flies around his second corner. Beautiful line. And look at that, straight as an arrow. Definitely an Aussie driving that one.
Sure, mate, whatever you say.
All right, now Frank's corner tonight. We featured this guy before, Sharon Tarshish. He did the suspension mods before, but he did this absolutely stunning rat rod build of this 1940s Ford Coupe. This is an absolute work of beauty. I'm so impressed with it. He takes it from this ugly sort of lilac colour with odd flames and just does this beautiful old school race car with it. Head on over, check out this whole process. It's well worth a look.
Wow, that is really impressive. I love his whole garage setup as well. It's very cool.
Yeah, there's lots to like there.
Okay, Trax Spy. And this week, that's right, Chaos Canyon. But we're not going to give too much away because we aren't ready to fully unveil. So there you go, that was it.
What? What do you mean that was it, mate? You can't just give him that. You got to give him something else.
Oh, really? But it's not finished.
Come on.
Okay, look. There you go.
Oh, mate, you're just teasing him now. You got to give him something decent.
Nah, not yet. Promise we'll do a proper reveal once the track is fully finished, but you're going to want to check it out. Alright, this is Kian Adriel Mendoza, and he is doing some cool little racing. It was basically a rip and run. So he chose a bunch of cars out of his box and just threw them down the track. And that's the sort of thing we like to see in the grassroots racing. You know, it's real, people having fun, that's what we want.
Now, Crash of the Week. This had to be Crash of the Week because we have never seen this before. Not only was it a semi-truck racing, but check out that crash. He doesn't just crash, he actually completely clears the lane next to him and the other truck manages to avoid him. It was absolutely epic.
Whoa. You definitely don't see that very often.
No, mate. Well worth it, though.
Alright, that'll do us for another week. We hope you've enjoyed it. Remember, keep an eye out for the new Chaos Canyon. It is coming up, I promise. As always, we'd like to thank redlinederby.com for providing an amazing resource for all diecast racing fans, whether you're wanting to get your races listed, whether you're wanting to find out information on modding or anything to do with diecast, head over and check it out. And if you want to be part of the DSPN reports, make sure you go to the DSPN forum on redlinederby.com. There's a link in the description. If you can't get the link to work, you can at least copy and paste it into your browser. We'd love to have you here. I'm Tom Spanners Watson. He's Frank the Guru Gibbs. We'll see you next time.
Geez, mate, it was a bit harsh not showing you much of the track.
Well, I have put that secret link in the description for anyone that's keen to find it.